Hey, what's going on guys? Today I'm going to show you how you can get this really cool liquid stretch effect in your videos. I've seen this effect used a ton of different ways, but I most recently saw it in the Snot Denzel Curry music video directed by the GOAT himself, Omar Jones. So if you want to follow along, I'm going to show you how you can do this, and it's actually pretty simple. Now if you find any of this helpful, feel free to like and subscribe to my channel because it helps out a ton. Alright, let's just dive right into it. So this is what I ended up making, and the techniques that I used are the same that they used in the actual video. I'm going to show you how you can make it exactly like the video, but you can also customize it a ton and kind of make it your own. Jumping right into it, you're going to want to get a clip. Now this clip I picked because it actually has a pretty high contrast background, and because in the original music video there's really not a ton of footage that isn't super effects heavy, so I had to just find something. Now we're going to be doing rotoscoping, and a good rule of thumb for rotoscoping is wanting to pick something with a high contrast background. You don't want the talent that you're going to be selecting out of the frame to be blending in too much with the background. You can always make it work, but it just ends up being a little extra work. Now I'm going to select my roto brush tool and then just click onto my talent. Make sure that you're using the 2.0 version with the most updated version of After Effects, and I always use Best as well. So you're going to just highlight your talent, and it will normally do a pretty good job at guessing where it's at, but in moments like over here, where his shirt is sort of similar to the background, you're going to have to get a little close up and adjust it a bit. Now for the sake of this tutorial, I'm not going to make mine perfect, but I'm just still trying to get it pretty good to show you guys how it works. Get his glasses, make sure I get his hat. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Now, another thing, if you don't have a perfect selection, it's always nice to feather it a little bit. That way some jagged edges aren't as noticeable. And maybe adjust the reduced chatter in general. Now, with rotoscoping, there's a lot that you can do to customize it, so I might do a tutorial in the future just kind of going over everything. But for the sake of this tutorial, if you just quick select your talent, maybe add a little bit of feather, I think that'll be fine. So now, I'm going to click play and see if it will do a good job at matching the rest of it. Now it actually does a pretty good job, except once he starts putting his hands down, it sort of starts to slip a little bit. So I'm going to go in here and alt click and just move the brush over the sections that I don't want it to highlight. So over here I can get rid of that. And then just kind of click through each frame. You know, once the camera starts panning, you start to lose it a little bit, but I'm just gonna cut here because I don't want to have this lens flare selected. Cool. So once you have it in a place where you like it, just hit freeze. Now this will actually cut your subject out from the background, and it's just really good for your workflow. So I'm gonna let that load. Now when you go back here, you'll actually see that your subject is cut out and the background is gone. So I'm going to duplicate this clip, just hitting Command D. And then on the one behind him, I'm going to get rid of the roto brush. That way we'll still have the background. So now it's actually time to add our effect. So if you go over to the effects panel and type in CC Scale Wipe, and then drag that onto your roto brush layer on top. Now when you drag it on, you're not going to see anything. But when you drag the stretch icon, you're going to kind of see how this effect starts to take shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the direction so it's more horizontal, or maybe even going down a bit, something like that. All right, I'm going to set mine to 102 really quick. And I also want mine to cover the whole entire frame, so I'm just going to adjust it so that it kind of does that. And now I'm going to set a keyframe for my stretch. So I'll probably set it to, let's try like 43, 42. So I'm gonna move that about here and then set the original keyframe to 0. See how that looks. Cool. And then I'll set another keyframe at 42. And then have it go back to 0. Now really quickly, I'm going to select these and hit easy ease. You can also hit F9 for easy ease. And let's see how this looks. See, there you go. Now, this is pretty spot on to the original clip. If you want to play around with it, you can sort of keyframe some of these different elements so that it changes throughout the scene. But that's sort of up to you and how you want to add your own creativity to whatever footage that you're working with. Now, I think that this technique is really cool and it's just a fun little trippy add-on to your music videos. And you can sort of use this in a ton of different ways, so feel free to go and use this effect however you want. And I'm really excited to see what you guys ultimately end up coming up with.